parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial. And I assume you denied, but I'd like you to deny our motions for mistrial. You denied the other people.
I've denied your motion, but I'll certainly take that under advisement, sir.
Young Thug's lawyer has come under attack, and it's looking like he's going to be spending some time in jail. All right, Brian Steele, y'all want to talk about standing on business? He stood 10 toes down and decided he was not going to snitch on some of the and tell the judge where he got some of the information that recently came out, which actually could possibly lead to a mistrial. And Thug might be getting out of jail. Let's listen to it. We're going to check out and see what actually happened in court when Brian Steele was initially arrested. And then I'll give you guys a little bit of the background on why this is taking place and some of the things that led up to it as well.
You all are really getting yourselves cross purposes at this point in time.
And this is Judge Glanville right here. Super dope dude.
You all are really getting yourselves cross purposes at this point in time. Sir, I'm telling you, you are at this point in time. You made some things out of nothing. I think that you're on very precarious ground at this point in time. So I'm telling you at this point in time, he's in custody. We're going to go ahead and start. You can represent Mr. Williams. That's okay. That's fine. I'll take up the other stuff as needed, but I'm not going to take it up right now.
So what he's talking about here is Brian Steele at the beginning of this court proceedings came out and let the judge know, hey, like, we're going to have a mistrial here. And the judge said, what is going on? He said, well, I got here earlier than I was supposed to be. And I heard from somebody and got some information that you guys were having a meeting without us. So now the prosecution, some of y'all may know, is not allowed to meet with the presiding judge without the defense being there, right? So that happens. You've got a whole bunch of other legal issues you run into, and it could lead to things being thrown out, there being a mistrial, whatever have you. So in this case, Brian Steele found out from someone that they were meeting without him, and he said, hey, judge, you can't be doing that. And if that's going to happen, then we need to look for another judge. We need to call a mistrial, and we're going to start this whole thing over because y'all did something that was illegal and that you weren't supposed to do. So clearly, Judge Glanville is upset about these accusations and wants to know where they're coming from, how he found out this information. Obviously, if Brian tells where this information came from, y'all can guarantee that person is going to get fired. Yeah, and I see some of y'all talking about Fannie Willis in the comment section. We're going to talk about her in a minute too.
Really getting yourselves cross purposes at this point in time. Sir, I'm telling you, you are at this point in time. You made some things out of nothing. I think that you're on very precarious ground at this point in time. So I'm telling you at this point in time, he's in custody. We're going to go ahead and start. You can represent Mr. Williams. That's okay. That's fine. I'll take up the other stuff as needed, but I'm not going to take it up right now. Say again? Respectfully, I will not. I cannot. Sir, you have to. Well, you're going to have to do the best you can at this point in time, because you don't get to extort the court. That's what you're attempting to do at this point in time. Sir, yes, you are. What you're trying to do is...
So what's happening here is this was before the proceeding started and Brian brought up the accusations. Judge Glanville's like, I'm holding you in contempt of court. I see what you're trying to do. He thinks he's trying to extort the court. He's not going to tell him where he got the information from. So he's alleging that Brian is just making this up. But at the same time, he also wants to find out who gave him this information. Right. So now they're going to remove Brian from the proceedings, continue on with the case. And then they have this other attorney that they want to proceed with, this other defense attorney that they want to proceed with. And the other attorney is saying, hey, Judge, I don't know. I can't do this, man. I'm just here to support. I'm handling this part of the case. And Brian is the lead attorney on this case. We can't proceed without him being here. And the judge is like, well, We got to keep it moving, man. Figure it out.
Not going forward if I don't get this. You know, it doesn't work that way, Mr. Adams. And I'm telling you at this point in time, I would,
it's tough out here.
I would just kind of govern yourself accordingly, sir. I'm telling you.
You said figure it out.
As the court, under these particular circumstances, everything will come out as it should. I don't think, sir, I don't have enough information at this point in time to address it. I don't. But I'm telling you at this point in time, there is nothing.
Mr. Adams said, I got a tea time. I don't want to do this.
Said, whatever, this morning. That
If there is any accuracy to some of the information that we are.
But sir, I don't even know. Your co-counsel won't even tell me who said whatever. Okay. And the challenge I'm having in this particular circumstance is that is such a violation of the sacrosanctness of the court's chambers and an ex parte conversation. You're just glossing over that. You're glossing over that in its entirety. No.
So basically, he's just saying these are serious accusations. And Brian, if he wants to move forward with this, he has to let the judge know who told him this information, because otherwise it's just hearsay. And he just heard about this. Either he was listening into a conversation or he was walking by and heard somebody say something, which is actually illegal. It's not good, man. This whole thing is a mess.
Sir. That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
This is wild, man.
That's not what happened. I'm just telling you, that's not what happened.
Judge, respectfully, we are not obligated to simply accept that there's been no violation. We believe that there has been.
Okay, well then you've made no, we're not doing that at this point in time. So you'll have a choice.
Dang, man.
All right, take Mr. Steele into custody, please.
All right, so they got him, man. They took Brian Steele up out of there. They arrested him or detained him, however you want to say it. They didn't put him in jail. They just take him back to a holding area. They continue with the proceedings, and then at the end of the day's proceedings, they brought him back in to deal with this situation. So basically, he put him in timeout. Which is wild, man. Let's keep it going. We got to see the whole thing go down. Got officers saying, "Come on, man, let's go." Dang, man, this whole thing has been crazy. I wish I could be in the courtroom.
Would the court afford me one moment to confer with counsel regarding the appropriate remedy in this type of situation?
Okay, all right.
And that's Miss Love. Got an opportunity to meet her as well. Great at what she does. Absolutely amazing. Very professional. She is
yes, sir.
trying to figure out what's going on here.
Mr. Williams does not wish to go forward without me being here. You are removing me against his will, my will. You're taking away his right to counsel. And you're conducting material parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial. And I assume you deny, but
Brian Steele said he's asking for a mistrial because the judge is taking away Young Thug's right to counsel. Man, this guy's a G. Shout out to Brian Steele, one of the top attorneys here in Atlanta. This man is an absolute killer. Yeah, he's ready to go. He said, "Hey, man, you can't do that. I'm telling you something that's going on, and you're removing me for contempt just because I won't give you somebody's name." Oh, this is wild, man.
material parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial. And I assume you deny, but I'd like you to deny our motions for mistrial. You denied the other people.
I've denied your motion, but I'll certainly take that under advisement, sir.
Oh my gosh. Woo! All right, there he goes, man. That's our guy, Brian Steele. Free Thug, man. Get him up out of here. Look at Young Thug.
Wait a minute.
He's like, man, this is crazy. All right, so let's read a little bit more into what's going on. Shout out to XXL. for summarizing everything that happened so far. So Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele taken into custody for contempt of court in the YSL RICO trial. Check this out. Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele has been ordered to spend 20 days in jail as a result of being held in contempt of court, according to Atlanta newspaper Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Judge Ural Glanville ordered Steele to spend the next 10 weekends in the Fulton County Jail in Georgia to fulfill his sentence. You do not want to be in Fulton County Jail. I'm telling y'all right now, Fulton County Jail is... Just look up the stories. Go over to Google and just type in Fulton County Jail, whatever. It's ugly over there. But Steele requested to be allowed to do his time at Cobb County Jail, where Young Thug is being held, so they can work on their case. Now, this isn't as terrible as it sounds, because as y'all saw, he's going to spend the next 10 weekends in the Fulton County Jail. So basically, he's going to check in on Friday and they'll let him out on Monday. Right. So it's more of an inconvenience than anything. But still, who wants to spend time in jail? I know I don't. I know I don't. And no, before y'all say it, I have not spent time in Fulton County Jail. All right. I just know. You can look up the stories. I haven't spent time in that specific jail. Anyway, Steele requested he be allowed to do his time at Cobb County Jail, where Young Thug is being held, so they can work on the case. Glanville okayed the request on his end and said he would speak with the sheriff. All right. So originally, Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele is taken into custody after being held in contempt of court. Young Thug's attorney taken into custody on Monday. So this was yesterday, June 10th. Young Thug's attorney Brian Steele was taken into custody and held in contempt shortly after Judge Glanville and the prosecution returned from lunch. And we'll get into actually some of the things that happened leading up to him being held in contempt, because speaking of Fannie Willis, some crazy things went down in ties to Fannie Willis as well. We're going to hear about it in a second. The jury had not yet been brought back out, and Steele informed Judge Glanville that Lil Woody Copeland, or we'll call him Lil Woody, a key witness for the prosecution, met with his stand-in lawyer and prosecutors without the defensive knowledge. Oh no. This is bad, bad, bad. So it looks like he's saying that Lil Woody met with another lawyer and the prosecutors. Sheesh. And the interesting thing is, well, we'll get into Lil Woody in a second, but y'all keep this in mind, because he originally declined to testify and he was also held in contempt of court. But now it's looking like today that he decided, I changed my mind, I'm actually going to testify. So this is crazy, man. Judge Glanville became furious at Steele for knowing this information and demanded he tell him how he found out about the meeting. Glanville claimed that was an ex parte meeting, which is a legal term that refers to a meeting one party has with the judge to speak on issues with the case without other parties' knowledge. Glanville accused Steele of witness intimidation and coercion. Steele said he wouldn't disclose how he found out about it. You and I are going to have some problems, Judge Glanville said. The judge then left the bench, saying he returned in 5 minutes, which it took him closer to 15-20 minutes, and that Steele needed to tell him how he found out about the ex parte meeting. Judge Glanville threatened to hold Steele in contempt if he did not do so. After 5 minutes, Glanville returned. It wasn't 5 minutes. He returned, but Steele would not budge. Glanville said he'd be taking Steele into custody and that he'd have until 5 p.m. that day to tell the judge where he got the information from, or where he got the information before officially charging him. Right, you'll have to make a choice, Glanville said. Take Mr. Steele into custody, please. Oh my gosh. As Young Thug's lawyer was led away, he approached the bench and said his client did not feel comfortable moving forward with the trial without him being present. Steele asked for a mistrial Thug's second attorney, Keith Adams, also moved for mistrial. Yep, and this Keith Adams, y'all saw him in the video. He was the one wearing the glasses, bald head, would say, "Hey man, I can't carry this case on my own. I need Brian here. And if Brian's not here, I mean, we might as well not even have this case." And also on the other side, the prosecution has a lot of issues with this as well, just because one, seems like there's a leak on their side. Two, if they go through with this in the way this is being handled, it could lead to a mistrial, especially if Judge Glanville is too hasty in holding Brian in contempt because of some of the things he mentioned. Young Thug doesn't have access to his lawyer and a lot of other things on the legal side I won't go into. But Mr. Williams does not wish to go forward without me, Steele told the judge. "You are removing me against his will, my will. You've taken away his right to counsel, and you're conducting material parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial, and I assume you deny. But I'd like you to deny our motion for mistrial." Wow. "I deny your motion, but I'll certainly take that under advisement," Judge Glanville responded. Glanville, he is fighting for this one, man. He does not want to be left out of this. So some of the things that happened in between here. First of all, our guy, Brian Steele, did not have any representation, right? And word spreads fast in these circles. So when some of the other attorneys in the area found out that Brian was being held in contempt of court, man, he got a whole army of attorneys behind him. They actually had attorneys outside of the courtroom wanting to get in to protest what was happening in court. All right, and you can look this up. There's more information out there, and I'll show that at a later time. But he eventually requested, as they came back at the end of the day when the judge gave him another chance to give him the information that he was looking for, he actually was able to get someone to represent him. And the person that was representing him is the person that was going up against Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade. Now, if y'all don't know that story, and it's Fannie, I guess I'm saying her name wrong. It's easier to say Fannie. Anyway, if y'all don't know that story, Fannie Willis is the district attorney here in Atlanta, and she was trying this case against Donald Trump that has been going on, and now it's actually frozen because of some of the things that the lawyer that was representing some of the people on Donald Trump's side shut things down. All right, I believe her name is Ashley. I gotta look up her name. Her name is Ashley something. Anyway, so she actually came in to represent Brian Steele. She goes back and forth with Judge Glanville and is essentially saying, "Hey, you can't do this, isn't right. Here are the other cases, and here's the precedence that was set that says you're not able to do this and hold him in contempt." The judge says, "I don't care. I'm holding him in contempt. We're gonna keep it moving forward," and he's gonna do the next 10 weekends.